this is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to touch on the topic of anxiety. I had recently watched fellow Authortuber Laura Wright's confession on her anxiety and how it affected her writing and blogging and stuff. And I was really touched by her video. I have linked it below in the comments. I was really touched because it seemed like she was telling my story, and I could just feel it. I mean, you know, it brought up everything that I feel on a regular basis. Now, anxiety is difficult enough, but for me, I also have bipolar disorder. That is, for people who don't know, a mood disorder where your mood swings back and forth from euphoria to depression. When I'm in the manic or euphoric phase, I tend to be more creative. So at that point, I don't consider it a curse. But on the days when I'm depressed, I can't get out of bed. I don't feel like writing. I can't write. It just becomes such a chore that it almost turns me off writing for quite a while when I'm in that phase. Luckily, I am currently medicated for both the anxiety issues and the bipolar. I'm fairly stable. I don't swing moods as much as I used to. For a while there, I was very rapidly changing moods, and they could switch in a matter of minutes. I mean, back and forth, you know, like watching the pendulum on the clock go back and forth, or a tennis game back and forth, you know. It was just like way too much to deal with. But as I say, when I am in the manic phase, I do feel more creative. I have the energy, the desire to write, and I'll dive right in there and, you know, not need much push to encourage myself. I can't follow a schedule. There's just no way I can follow a schedule. Between the two of them, you know, I never know how I'm going to feel. As Laura writes about the anxiety, if you listen to her video and how much trouble, you know, how she struggles with it, and at times, you know, there's long times between videos because you just can't deal with it, and you're struggling to deal with your anxiety, the thoughts that run through your head constantly, for me, the feelings of I'm not good enough. I mean, when I'm manic, I think I'm great. You know, I think I can do anything, and you know, I just think I'm great. But when I'm depressed, it's like, you know, I'm nobody, I'm nothing, nobody likes me. You know, mental health does affect your writing. I definitely agree with Laura on that. Like I said, her story it was just like listening to me telling my story, except I don't believe she has bipolar. I think that's my own lucky, you know, additive to the anxiety. I have several mental issues, unfortunately, that plague me. I mean, paranoia is hard because I try to make a video, and then I think, you know, everybody's laughing at me, and you know, they don't take me serious. I know I'm older than most use Authortubers, and so I'm, kind of out here on a limb all by myself as it is, because I'm not young anymore. And, I know most of them are. I haven't come across any of them that are anywhere near my age. And so, we all have our own set of problems that we have to overcome in our writing. I know nobody is perfect, and nobody can just sit down and whip off a story without struggling over it. But it just seems like when you're suffering from these mental illnesses that it's more of a struggle, that you can't overcome it as easily as someone else. And you take things more to heart. And, I have to deal with borderline personality disorder as well. It has its own set of problems. And most of mine all started as a young child. I'm probably one of the youngest people in the world on anxiety meds, because here I was as an infant being fed tranquilizers in order to get a bottle to stay down. And at that time, like I said, I was born in the 50s, so nobody talked about mental illness anyhow. And I'm not even sure how my mother even managed to get the doctor to give me tranquilizers. And there's a very good chance that I didn't need them, that I was simply having an allergic reaction to the formula back then was handmade, from a baby doctor. It wasn't, the pre-canned stuff we have nowadays. And it's possible that's all it was, but I do know I had severe anxiety, and by the time I was a few years old, I was already ripping my fingernails off and, pulling at the skin. And then I started, as my parents tried to stop that, nasty tasting stuff on your hands, didn't work. I didn't care. I had to bite my nails. I just had to. Half the time I don't even know they're in my mouth. It's such an unconscious habit, and to this day I still do it. Even with the anxiety medicine, I'm on a pretty high dose right now, and I'm still dealing with anxiety problems pretty bad. And as a teenager, she was always running after me when I was having a traumatic experience, which as a teenager, you're always having traumatic experiences. Everything is traumatic. So, I'm sorry, hit the tripod again. I hate when I do that. I can't sit still. That's it's another issue I have to deal with. It's hard for me to write when I can't sit still. I'm constantly moving around. But as a teenager, I was on constant, tranquilizers to try to calm me down from all of life's ups and downs that I just couldn't handle. And, the older I got, the more problems I had. When I became a wife, I became a mother, became a divorcee. I became divorced and on my own, and I'd never been on my own. When I got married, I went from my father's house to my husband's house. I was taken care of. And it's a big shock to suddenly find yourself trying to deal with taking care of yourself when you have no idea how. So I just wanted to say that, mental health problems can be a curse at times, but they can also be the best thing. I love my creativity. I love it when I can sit there and just spend all day writing. I do more short stories and poetry than writing of books. It's just been recently that I actually tried to write a book. I, always wanted to, but it was in the back of my mind, and I write tons of short stories and poetry. Some of it has eventually gotten thrown out when I've gone back later and read the post on my blog and thought, nah, that's not any good. I don't like that. And I've taken it off. But for the most part, I find my mental health issues both good and bad. I mean, there's good and bad in everything, so why not in mental health issues? But that is, well, I just wanted to say that, I can certainly understand what Laura Wrights was talking about in her blog when she confessed to her anxiety and how she felt. It was just like my story. So this is just a short blog today on my feelings of mental health and writing. If you like my videos, and I am sorry that I stutter sometimes, but my mind sometimes goes blank, and I don't know if it's all the medications I'm on, because I'm on medications for the anxiety. I'm on medications for my bipolar, which include antidepressants and antipsychotics, and they mess with my mind, so sometimes my mind just quits on me. So I do apologize for the times when I go blank and I kind of and don't know what to say. My mind stopped, can't think. But anyhow, despite that, if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss one. I try to publish at least once or twice a week when I can. As Laura explained, sometimes there's times when you go longer than normal, and there could be a time when I just can't produce something and it will be a longer wait in between videos. But I will do my best to try to do at least one or two a week. And so I hope everyone stays safe during this pandemic. Unfortunately, my father's nursing home has been hit with very high numbers of positive cases, all of which were asymptomatic. None of them were sick. None of them showed signs of it. But they did it. The nursing home tested everybody, and the governor ordered it as well. So there's an extreme amount of numbers, and now we just had some deaths. Now, the good news is my father has tested negative. He doesn't think it's good news. He wants to be with my mom. He misses her. But as my sister said, he wants it too bad. He's not going anywhere. And he is negative. So that's the good news. So I want to end this on a good news, I'm just very worried about my father, and right now he's definitely not sick, and that's a good thing. So everybody be safe. Enjoy your weekend if you get one. For me, it's just one big weekend. Being on disability, I'm always off. I never know what day it is. I'm not even sure if it's the weekend at this point. But like as I said, please be safe. I hope everybody's family is doing well. I know that must be hard if you're, like me, have someone in a situation where they're exposed to the virus, and have a very strong possibility of getting it or have it. I'm sure somewhere out there, there's people that I know through Authortube, and I know you guys very well, because I've watched Authortube straight for 2 years and watched all your videos and whatnot. So, I feel as if I'm part of Authortube, even though I just started making videos. And I hope all of you are doing well, your families are well, and stay safe. Have a great day. Until the next one. I'll see you then.